Okay.
Here? Nope.
Now turn right.
Or somewhere.
You want me to drop you off up there?
No, I can walk.
Okay.
I was just saying I have to go.
We arrived with 27%. And we jumped right up to 245 kW. Now it's starting to taper a smidge. We'll be here 20 minutes. Time for a restroom break anyway in Brooksville, Florida, near Orlando, I guess, or Brooksville, I guess. Good morning. So we're in this, I think it said Brooksville. Yeah, Brooksville, Florida. It's a 12 site. It's in the parking lot of a Winn-Dixie grocery store. It's a nice complex. There's a dollar show or something or whatever, a liquor store, a laundromat. It's not bad. Not a bad place. So we stopped at Cracker Barrel this morning. You saw that video earlier. Nice little breakfast of champions to get us going this morning, and we're gonna take a different route today. I think we're gonna head up through Alabama. I put in Birmingham as halfway home tonight to get back to Illinois. So just stay with us, guys. Okay, guys, we're in Lake City, Florida. This is a version 2 with only 6 stalls. I've never seen anything like this. This must be an original station. When we got here, we filled it up. So we were splitting with whoever was here. Now they've moved and we're able to get full charge. We grabbed some lunch at Chili's right behind us. So we were okay with the slow charge. We needed to charge deep into the pack anyway. So, all right. This was our second stop. I'll get back with you later. Thanks, guys. Hi, guys. Okay, currently we are in a town called Albany, Georgia. I decided to get off the interstate and we're gonna cut over to Montgomery, Alabama and take I-65 north versus I-75, just for something different to head north. So currently, it looks like 16 stalls here in Albany. I'm in 1A. Yes, nope, there's 12. Sorry, I was trying to do the math. Yeah, there's 12 stalls. All right, stay tuned. All right, good evening, everybody from Montgomery, Alabama. These are the version 4 panels. There's 12 of them here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 12 here. It's still got version 3 technology because we only went to like 248 charging. We rolled in at 17% charge. So we'll be here about, probably only about 5 or 10 minutes. And then we are going to Birmingham, Alabama for the night. Spend the night at the end of day 1. Well, good morning. Welcome to day 2. We are currently charging at Gardendale, Alabama. It's 8 version 3 superchargers, and it's pouring down rain. We spent the night here about 10 minutes away, so I had 10 minutes of warming the battery before we got here, so it jumped right up to 165 kilowatts. We still had 37% in the battery, so it was still a higher charge, but I wanted to get us some to get us north towards Nashville. So If we stay here another 10 minutes, it says we should be able to get to Nashville. Now, heavy rain, depending on speeds, thing like that. There's a cutout in Lewisburg that's before that, so I'm not worried about that if we have to cut out and go to Lewisburg. But currently, it says here in 10 minutes we'll have enough to go to Nashville for a charge. So we drove yesterday 670 miles. We've been averaging 264 watt hours per mile for this whole the 670 miles. So we probably got another 600 and something today, 620 hopefully, or a little less. So I'll catch up with you at the next stop. Okay, people, this is my new favorite place other than the pouring down rain. There is a 24 stall. We're at the Tennessean Travel Center. We're just into Tennessee from Alabama, maybe 20 miles, 10 miles. I'm not even sure. I don't know what town we're in. This is a truck stop that is better than any Buc-ee's I've been to. The restrooms are nice, top of the line. That was 24 stalls of fast superchargers. So there's a McDonald's across the street, and it's an actual truck stop, travel center. As you can see, the missus are walking to the car in the rain. We're parked way out there because I didn't want to block. Okay, there's 24 stalls. Just kidding. 24 chargers. Nice. Okay, stand by. Yeah. So other than the rain today, this is awesome. The Tennessean Travel Stop. We're still here. She had to run back into the restroom again. So we're just going to overcharge because next is Cuttawa, Kentucky, and it says we're going to arrive with a 9% charge, but I'm going to we're going to let it charge an extra 5-10 minutes while we're here. Doesn't hurt. If I have to take it to 80%, that's fine. This is unbelievable. Between the men's room and the women's room at this travel center, there's a barn door that is from George Jones's barn. Oh, that is so cool. Just a really neat travel center. Tons of things to do, and like I said, there's truck stop out back, tons of semis out back. It's a really nice. It actually looks, and I'll see if I can get a video of it. It actually looks from this side like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a nice wooden, it says Tennessean Travel Center. And you know what? Let's just take this off here while we're at it. And I'll just see if I can't flip it around. Stand by. This is what I meant. It kind of looks like a big whiskey bottle on the front. Tennessean Travel Center and the pouring down rain. All right, enough of that. I don't want to get wet anymore. Okay, guys. So we are in Cuttawa, Kentucky. Now check this out. These are 8 version 2s. Okay. You may remember on our way down to Florida, across the street over there at the Hux/Pilot/whatever, there's version 3s, which are in the version 4 pile, whatever they're called, the boxes. So as we were about 5 miles away, we got a notification that those were unavailable, and it rerouted us to these. So you wouldn't think version 2s would get used very often, but thank God they have them, because otherwise we would not have a charge. We were down to the last 20%, and there's not another charger for quite some distance from here. So it immediately said that it was no longer working, and it rerouted us to these, which are across the street. So we're good to go. So we've actually been here about 20 minutes. We went to Wendy's and had lunch, which was perfect. Version 2 are slower, but we decided to go 20, and now we're going to go up somewhere into Illinois for one final charge before we get home. All right, I'll get back with you. So here we are in Salem, Illinois, what's supposed to be our final stop. It's a 12 stall at a Subway parking lot. So currently it's 4 o'clock in the evening. It says we'll be home about 7. We're still 160 miles from home. It says we'll be home about 7:05 p.m. So we don't normally go this way, but I have been following the GPS, the navigation system for Tesla, and it's worked out really well. It diverted us today around possibly an accident to save us in excess of 10 minutes. I'm learning slowly to trust the navigation system. Just trust it. That's why we're going this way, which is not our normal way of going home. So I'll follow up at the end. So stand by. Okay, we are home. And if you look, we drove 1,281 miles, used 344 kilowatts of energy, and we averaged 268 watt hours per mile. So this last leg, we drove 169 and had 264 watt hours per mile. Okay, so I'll have a quick wrap up. Stand by. All right, good morning, everybody. So let's wrap this video up. We're home. As you can tell, we're in the kitchen of Mrs. Evie Darrow. So two things I want to go over real quick. On the way down to Florida, we drove 1,252 miles. On the way home, we drove 1,281. On the way down, we averaged 286 watt hours per mile, which is 3.5 miles per kilowatt. Then on the way back, we actually got better. We got 268 watt hours per mile, and we averaged 3.73 miles per kilowatt. We used 344 kilowatts coming home, and there was 358 used going down. The reason for that is we drove numerous two-lane roads. Time-wise, basically we cut through the countryside. Time-wise was break even. It took us about 23 hours of drive time this time on the way home, and it was about 23 hours of drive time on the way down, which again is about 3 hours extra over a gas car, okay? No matter how you cut it, a gas car is gonna be quicker. That's just all there is to it. So let's go over some numbers real quick. So when we left, I think we left down in Florida, we had about a 80% charge, 75% charge, something like that. Our first charge was in Brooksville, Florida for $11.19. Our second charge was in Lake City, Florida for $21.47. Third charge was in Albany, Georgia, where it was about $8 and some change. I don't have the exact figures, so we'll round up here in a little bit. And when we had gotten to Tifton, Georgia is when I turned off. We wanted to go through Alabama. So I turned off on a state route, kind of heading towards Montgomery, Alabama. And so we ended up, I told you Prattville, didn't I, at 1537? No, Prattville, Alabama was after Albany, Georgia at $8 and something. We went to Prattville, Alabama for $15.37. Then Gardendale, Alabama was $9.35, and that's right around Birmingham. And that's where we spent the night before last. It was in Birmingham, just north of Birmingham in Gardendale. So then we went to Lewisburg, Tennessee for $18. And then Cuttawa, Kentucky for $19.88. And then Salem, Illinois. And here's where the navigation system really changed in a good way. Salem, Illinois at $20.49 for a grand total of $123.75 or $124, okay? Gas would have cost us in our van about $136. It's a wash, like it was on the way down, okay? It's not 5 times more expensive to charge your electric car than to pay for gas. Now, if gas gets down to $2 a gallon again, it will be cheaper to drive a gas car than an electric car down to Florida and back, okay? So having said that, I trusted the navigation system. I was very skeptical in the beginning because, Tesla tells you, for even the novice like me, since you don't have 12 apps and you don't have to put in zip codes and swipe, you just plug it in, you can navigate to where you want to go. And so when we got to Tifton, Georgia, I had looked at the map and I thought, well, I kind of want to cut over to Birmingham, Alabama eventually. So I put in the navigation system. At that point, I switched it because normally we would go up through Atlanta, Chattanooga, through the mountains and over. But we've been wanting to go through the other way. So I turned off at Tifton, and at a Circle K gas station, I rerouted to Birmingham. And that's where it took us through a lot of 2 lanes. There were some 4-lane highways, but state routes basically all the way over. And slowly but surely, I was very insecure early on, like, does it know what it's doing? Because, when you get off the interstates, you think, oh boy, there's no chargers. And oh boy, am I going to be able to make it? It worked great. Took us all the way through probably 200 or 300 miles of country roads, which we like seeing the back roads. We love to see towns and just stuff like that. And it worked. Then yesterday, I keep saying today, yesterday, as we were coming home, I was planning on, once we got into Nashville, because we came north on I-65 out of Birmingham, into Nashville, and that's where we met up with our normal route. And it takes you to Cuttawa, Kentucky, through Paducah, up to Mount Vernon. And usually at Mount Vernon, we cut over on I-64 over to Route 4 and head north, come up through that way. That's always been our fastest route. But I noticed on the routing, it said, when we filled up in Cuttawa, it said you have one charge left in Salem, Illinois. Well, Salem, Illinois is north of Mount Vernon and north of I-64. And I'm like, by then I was like, you know what? We're going to trust it. We're going to trust it. It says we're going to be home by 7 o'clock in the evening. So each day it's gotten more trusting. I've learned to trust it. So we did it. Well, when we got up on I-57 to Salem, Illinois and started charging, we needed to charge deep in the pack because we were still, I want to say 160 miles from home. Between 160 and 170 miles from home. We're still, we live in central Illinois, and Illinois is, 400 miles long, it seems like. So, and Salem, I-57 is over on the eastern side of Illinois, and we are more to the center or maybe even a little bit to the west of central Illinois. So we had a long way to go. We had to go north, and we had to go west, and we had to go north, and we had to go west. So anyway, it took us through the countryside all the way home, and going at slower speeds, we got better miles per kilowatt. That's what I was getting at. And that's the same thing with when we cut through over to Alabama. When you're driving, instead of running, say you're running 75 or 80 on the interstate, your watt hours per mile or your miles per kilowatt are not that great. But you make good time. But what we found is by cutting through the countryside, we made just as good a time, and we got a lot better miles per kilowatt or watt hours per mile or lower. So, and we enjoyed the view, a lot less traffic than I-75 or I-57 or I-24, all the interstates that we were taking, or I-55. We did, yesterday, it had us cut back over to Taylorville, Illinois, which then took us to Springfield. And in Springfield, we got back on I-55 heading north, which is the route we normally come into. So we did have some interstate, but Springfield is probably like 60 miles from our house in Pekin. So the last 60 we were on the interstate. But before that, from Salem, Illinois, for 125 miles or whatever, we cut through the countryside, through small towns, and somehow the time was identical. And yet we got a lot better miles per kilowatt. So I'll wrap it up there. We're home. All's good. We're going to be here about 6 weeks, and then we'll head back down to Florida. But, you know, I have to say, pretty much road tripping in a Tesla is pretty simple. A quick note, we have full self-driving they've given us for like 30 or 45 days. I'm gonna send my Tesla into the shop because full self-driving at night wouldn't work, and it said there were camera issues, camera failures. I want to make sure they're calibrated correctly, the cameras. So I'm going to get hold of Tesla, and we'll talk about that later. So, other than that, pretty boring trip. So appreciate everything. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think. The video, I mean, I'm not a videographer. I don't know. I just took some videos at each stop along the way. So appreciate everything, guys, and stay safe.